First, Chicago records its most violent holiday weekend of the summer.
9 people were killed, 52 wounded just since Friday evening. And police say a large portion of the holiday shooting victims were attacked during incidents, a drive-by in Humboldt Park, and mass shootings in Bronzeville and Oakland. Now, this weekend's violence comes as President Trump is continuing to threaten to deploy National Guard troops and federal agents into the city.
They were saying, please, please, please let the president send it. These were people from Chicago. Please, we need help.
And Tia visited both Chicago's South and West Sides today to ask residents what they want.
She joins us live from downtown with what she heard from many people. Tia?
Well, Terrence and Sylvia, you know, it's a really easy point for political pundits to get in front of a microphone and say what they think about the National Guard coming to Chicago. We've heard a lot from them. We've heard from politicians, and in fact, we've heard from military veterans. The group that we haven't heard from are the residents, many of them living in some of these violent communities, what they think about the National Guard coming to town. And our first stop was on the west side, right in Garfield Park.
They shouldn't have authority to try to police the world of the city because they don't know the rules and regulations of what officers do.
My thing is we in war with ourselves or like is the government in war with the citizens? So.
Look in front of Marshall High School. There's nobody there. There's nobody here.
Now, Garfield Park on Chicago's west side ranks second among communities with the most shootings this year. That's according to crime data. So far, 93 people have been shot in the area and 13 have died. Now, we spoke with 3 residents who all share, you heard it, a common view. The National Guard is not the solution. Some described it as a temporary fix to a much deeper problem. Meanwhile, 14 miles away in Chicago's Woodlawn neighborhood, that's on the south side, we interviewed 2 women from different generations. And despite the age gap, their opinions align. Both questioned the need for troops. One of them said Chicago is not nearly as bad as some other cities and expressed concern that the city might be used as a political pawn.
President or whoever is sending this off to us or deploying these National Guards here, I'm not sure if that's such a good idea. We need to have more policing in these areas where they're doing these crimes, and that's all to it, and it shouldn't just be downtown.
The National Guard will only be a temporary solution to an everlasting problem, because even if you get National Guard here, sure, crime will go down, but I don't think that it will get to the root of the problem. It'll slap a Band-Aid on. There's a lot of reasons why there's a lot of crime that goes on, like throughout Chicago and even surrounding neighborhoods. Some people have a lack of resources. Maybe they were not raised in the right houses. And when bringing National Guard here, all that's going to do is instill fear.
Now, keep in mind, we did just interview a very small part of Chicago's population, but when you look at numbers, because numbers don't lie, you can see that Chicago does have issues with violence, but it is not the most violent city in America, especially when you look at FBI crime reports. In fact, cities like St. Louis, Baltimore, and Detroit, they actually top the list when it comes to per capita homicides. Live in downtown Chicago, Tia Ewing, Fox 32 Chicago.